already fed. This will be a struggle.
Yeah, right. Dave,
Hey, how you going? Yeah, it's been a pretty solid 24 hours here. It's been a bit going on, not all good. Yeah, so late yesterday afternoon, I was actually heading out for dinner with Sarah for the night. The guys were just they had 2 or 3 hours left to finish, and I was sort of giving Brendan a rundown on the header. And he was happy enough, and then was sort of halfway home and got a call on the two-way that he was bogged. So that was all right. In the process of I just shot back there in the process of trying to get the header out. We got the tractor bogged, so we called it for the night, which was no big deal. Anyway, we got to it this morning, borrowed a strap off a neighbour just to get the tractor out, and then the header came out no worries at all, which is good. But that was about 8:30. So yeah, running back to the ute just to service the header and fuel it up, and just got not far from the ute. I could kick a football as how close I was, and rather nasty crunching noise, and the header basically, thankfully I wasn't on the road, but the header came to I slowed down and the header came to a stop, and basically the transmission had locked up. So we spent most of the morning trying to diagnose what was going on, and the end result is the transmission's now sitting on the workshop floor. So what's actually happened is it's got just a hydraulic pump that goes in this side, the input side, and what has happened is on the opposite side of that shaft, that bearing there has seized or collapsed. Now, since we've sort of taken it off, it will actually spin now, but yeah, we've got metal shavings in the gearbox itself. I'll just lift this up if I can with one hand. Oh, that's got hold of my finger. That's the inside of the gearbox. So there's a few bits of metal in that floating around in there, but a fair bit of mucking around trying to work out what was going on. So we've managed to actually get hold of some bearings. That was our biggest fear, or my biggest fear was it was terminal, and one of these gears had come to bits because everything is sort of locked up on us. But yeah, we've got Sarah's been to Corowa and picked up a bearing. I've been to Finley and got another bearing. Of course, there's 2 different size bearings, so they're just a Timken bearing. So I'm just waiting on the mechanic now. It's about 6:30 at night. He was on his way, but he got a call out someone had done a rotor belt, which is not a big fix. It's a quick fix. We're sort of trying to get out. So he's just shot out to do that. Then he's going to come here, and I'm hoping we're pulling this sort of stuff. We can pull all this sort of stuff out, the transmission. But when you start playing with gears and shims, and yeah, that's a bit above my pay grade. Also Ross, he was here giving us a hand. He's an actual mechanic, but yeah, he's like, well, we might leave that one to the actual header mechanic. So look, hopefully we can get it back together tonight. We won't get the transmission back in tonight. We'll get it back in the morning. It took about an hour to get it out, so we're working on a couple of hours to get it back in probably. So yeah, fun and games. Anyway, it's that's where we're at. These things happen, unfortunately. Yeah, just the way what happens with machinery. So anyway, could be a damn sight worse, but yeah, fingers crossed we can get the wheels turning again. Morning, everyone. So yeah, mechanic didn't get here last night. He rang about 7:30, and I think he was about buggered, and I was about buggered too. It'd been a pretty big day. So I just said, yeah, look, leave it till the morning. And I think he's going to be here shortly. So no, I just thought I'd keep chipping away at this this top cross auger kit. So I've just got to do a bit of welding here. Just got to weld these brackets on and these other little support braces. Morning, little dog. Yeah, and then we can just keep putting it together. There's a couple of brackets that have got to be welded to each end yet. But yeah, so I just thought we've, as I said earlier, we're going to put this front on the header. We'll set it up. We do have a bit of canola to direct head. Mosquitoes are out and about this morning already. Yeah, and look, we've still got a couple hundred hectares of canola to do, and some of it's got a bit of dead stuff in it. So hoping the top cross auger will just help with the flow of it to yeah, get it out the window. So anyway, there was a shower of rain last night. So look, hopefully we can get this gearbox back together. I'll get it pulled apart and get it back together. Fingers crossed. It's the two bearings. We got the two bearings, and yeah, hopefully it's not a that's all it is. There's no other internal damage when we get in there. But yeah, I just wasn't confident. Look, I would have if I had to have, but I sort of wasn't 100% confident to start pulling it to bits myself. So just said, oh, we're better off waiting for the professional and rather than the backyard mechanic having a crack at it. Just one thing before I start and weld this up that has revolutionised the welding industry are these little guys, the little inverters. They've been around for 20 years or more now, and yeah, like you can get one for, I don't know, the last one I bought, I think I paid about $400 for it. But they've days are gone where you've got the big block of copper there humming away. Yeah, and you can get plenty of amperage out of them, and get a good weld out of them. So no, they're a good thing. But yeah, just sort of touch on that one. Oh, that's going to be hot. Don't want it on the mat. I'll just give you a look at that. this sort of stuff, I still prefer the arc welder, which is what this is. Those that don't know what it is, you've got the electrode that you've got to keep changing, but when you've got paint and grime and that sort of stuff, I just find the arc welder's a lot easier than the MIGs. And yeah, look, I've done plenty of it now, so it's second nature to me. So in sort of overhead and vertical and that sort of stuff. So it's yeah, it's a really good skill to have on the farm, to be able to weld. It comes in very handy, as you're finding out. We got all them welded up. Come up pretty well. There's a complimentary tin of black paint that comes with the kit, so we'll give them a bit of a touch up now while they're warm, and the paint will stick a bit better to them. Yeah, one thing I will say, and it's your weekly safety reminder, pretty good skill welding. Once you've learned it, it's sort of something you'll have for life. But you see videos from time to time, and probably not so much anymore, but there's a period of time where Dad would have the young bloke out welding, and he'd have him in a pair of shorts or something like that. If you're going to teach your kids to weld, for God's sake, cover them up, because it's like standing in front of the sun a foot away when you're welding. It just cooks your skin. I've been there and done it. And yeah, like I always weld in a long sleeve shirt, good pair of gloves. I've got a burnt hand from welding, so yeah, it does hurt. So, but yeah, just cover yourself up, even yourself, not even your kids. Like it just bakes you. So another one, if you are arc welding, when you're chipping the spatter off, put a pair of safety glasses on, or do it with your helmet down, because the hot stuff in your eye, that doesn't tickle either, and I've had that happen before too. So yeah, it's just a few things like that, but yeah, it's a good skill to have. Something that it's a bit like riding a bike. Once you learn it, you'll always have it. Okay, so we've got it all to bits, and there it is there. That's the bearing that's failed. And yeah, so we've given the housing a wash up and got all the little files and filings and bits and pieces out of it. So yeah, so mechanic, he's been, well, we had a bit of a mishap, and it was no one's fault. When we were getting the shaft that had the bearing on it apart on the bench here, there's been a couple of detent little just a ball bearing essentially, like these little guys here. Yeah, they've hit the ground and gone running. So we found one, but we've looked and looked and looked and cannot find the second one. So I started cutting old bearings open just to try and find something similar size. And so the mechanic's gone away, he's gone home, and he's managed to get one. So, or find one that's about the right size. So we've wasted half a day, which is frustrating at the very least. Anyway, so I've just got a bit of channel I've brought in here. I'm just going to make a bit of a apparatus up and put on the front of the tractor when we get back out there, just so we can slide it in under the machine and use we've got a trolley jack out there that we'll use to lift it up and get it back into place. But yeah, it's it's a bit tricky to handle, and it's bloody heavy. So, anywho, doesn't always go to plan. Oh, what a day. Anyway, we've got the bearings back in the transmission and we've actually got it back in the header, thankfully. Still got to hook a few pipes up, which we'll do in the morning, and put a few bolts in, which we'll have a look in the morning. But I really have to burn my clothes. I'm bloody filthy. Anyway, magpies flying around the shed here. And the bugs. I don't know whether you can see the bugs, but the bugs on the ground here. Anyway, things are looking up. We'll get rolling again tomorrow. Magnum's got to go out of town to get the big square baler fitted up. So yeah, on we march. So, but no, it's good to get that gearbox back in. It's been a bit of a pain in the ass, but anyway, it's machine. When you're running machinery, it breaks down. It doesn't break down the shed generally. So anyway, we'll talk to you in the morning. Morning, back again. Yeah, so the sun's just coming over the horizon. Gonna be a cracking day. Bit of a dew again this morning, so I'm just gonna stuck in under here and so show you what all the fuss is about. So we've got this is where the transmission goes, up under here. So yeah, we look, one, I didn't have the GoPro with me, but two, the way we lifted it in probably wasn't all that work health and safety savvy. We just had a long arm. That long arm I made up a bit like a big pizza slide for a pizza oven, and we just brought it in here, and then we had a trolley jack under the end of it, and look, it actually probably went in better than what it came out. So so all we've really got to do is just got that bolt there. I don't know if you can see him. Him and his mate on the opposite side have got to go in. Couple of electrical fittings. The park brake hose has got to go on, and then we come around the side here. We've just got the drive couplers that run from the gearbox across to that. You can see him, that spline there. So yeah, fingers crossed. I've got to run this other tractor into town for get the baler put on it. Yeah, so we'll it's going off my phone. Yeah, we'll get to it. Got about an hour. It's about 6 o'clock, so it'll take about 3/4 of an hour to get the tractor to town. So I need to be in there a bit before 8 to get picked up from Brendan. So yeah, we'll slip into this and see if we can get it done. Rightio, the moment of truth. We've had a bit of a bit of a take two. I tried before, but the park brake's actually hydraulic. It's still a bit noisy. And I've left the ladder down. Yeah, the park brake's hydraulic, and when we unhooked it off the transmission, we didn't have anything to plug the line, not realising, so we've dropped a fair bit of hydraulic oil on the ground, which is annoying. So yeah, I did have some hydraulic oil with me, but I'll probably have to duck home and get a bit more, I reckon, because it hasn't come up on the side class yet. Oh, go away. And that's so hopefully. And the park brake's on. Enough. Look at that. We have movement at the station. Righto, we're back in business. So we'll bang a bit of fuel in it, give it a quick blow down, a little bit of grease on the PDO shaft here on the pickup front. I might duck home and get some, it's only, what is it, 8:45, so it's probably going to be a bit tough yet. Give it an hour, grab some oil, grab some lunch, quick coffee, and full send. Hopefully that's the last major issue for a harvest. Shouldn't say it, but I think we've used up all our maintenance days now. So anyway, hasn't been too bad. It was just a major one. It happens, unfortunately. So anywho, all right, I'll let you go. See you on the next one. Thanks for watching, and yeah, enjoy. Ta-da.